and lock the doors. So, oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And have a full house, I guess.
Talk to you later.
Yeah, we usually have it pretty good.
Love you.
No, right. I'll be back in the The driver's out, so I drive.
How are you doing today? Good. How are you? I'm still alive.
So I mean, I'm curious, our post look right.
This one. All right.
Everybody hear me? Yes. Nice when you have a black crowd, ain't it? The band will start with Stars and Stripes. Color guard, get ready to post. The American Legion Band will play the national anthem. Everybody join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order.
First Chaplain Bruce Parrington. First Chaplain Bruce Parrington, please.
Uncovered.
Don't put it right up.
Almighty God, Almighty God, Father of us all, we, your servants, turn to you for countenance of your blessings upon us. You have spared us weapons from the grasp of our enemies. Grant us a full understanding of your precious comfort. We thank you for the privileges of life and the blessings we enjoy through your graciousness in our country, the land in which we are given freedom of speech, religion, and the pursuit of happiness. Assist us to know you better and the wisdom to acknowledge you as the God of the universe and our ideal. In your mercy, may we, the living, find our peace. Grant us from this day the challenge of high endeavor, the beauty of a humble spirit, a strong courage and will, without exertion, to continue to glorify you, to praise you, and to love you to the end of time. Amen.
Amen. Untitled Chapter. Color guard can be dismissed. Oh, well, yes. Please dismiss the color guard.
Color guard. What? Hey. Four. Mark.
Let's see if we can get this working. We apologize for this. Thank you. We apologize for that, especially on Veterans Day. At the 11th hour on the 11th day of the 11th month, World War I ended in 1918. This was to be the war to end all wars. But we all know that this was not the end. Veterans Day is a day to remember all veterans, both living and dead, in their sacrifices. Veterans Day should not be a day of sadness, but a time of pride and reflection on what veterans have accomplished and the freedoms they have protected. American veterans represent all races and ethnic groups. We are men and women. We are of every creed, belief, and physical description. We are your neighbor, the next door, the owner of the grocery store, and the fireman saving lives. What is a vet? He or she is the cop on the beat who's spent months in Saudi Arabia. She is the nurse who fought against futility and went to sleep sobbing every night for 2 solid years in Da Nang. He or she is the POW who went away one person and came back another, or didn't come back at all. He or she is the old guy bagging groceries at the supermarket, who helped liberate a Nazi death camp, and who wishes all day long that his wife was still alive to hold him when the nightmares come. He or she is the ordinary but yet extraordinary human being, a person who offered some of his or her life's most vital years in the service of his country, and who sacrificed his ambitions so others would not have to sacrifice theirs. He or she is a soldier and a savior, a sword against the darkness. They are the greatest in behalf of the finest, greatest nation ever known. Take a look in the eyes of a veteran standing near as he remembers his fallen buddies. He sheds a silent tear. His eyes show the feeling of the memories he holds, but his only one story. There's so many left untold. I'm sure each veteran has a story which they will never tell, about the days they spent at war and their nights of living hell. They have stories about their buddies who never made it back home, dreams that haunt them sometimes from the battlefields they roamed. If you look into the eyes of a veteran here today and tell them you appreciate what he has to say, then listen closely to his tale, for it will come from the heart through pain, grief, and sorrow. The veterans did their part. These veterans are our heroes. They kept our country free, and they should be honored every day. This I truly believe. A brotherhood of veterans, always standing side by side, who served their time of duty with dignity and pride. We proudly salute you, for we are a grateful nation, and we appreciate your sacrifices. My last quote is from our dear President John F. Kennedy, and he must have had an insight because it is still prevalent today. President John F. Kennedy, in 1961, gave this quote on Veterans Day to America. In a world of tormented by tension and the possibilities of conflict, we meet for a quiet commemoration of the historic day of peace. In an age that threatens the survival of freedom, we join together to honor those who made our freedom possible, and that is all our veterans here today. May God bless our veterans and keep them in his loving care, and may God especially bless America. Thank you for your service.
You did a good job, Patty. Patty researched a lot of things, and this is what she wrote from her heart. She did a great job as far as I'm concerned. All right, we're going to have greetings and welcome by Commander of the Post, Jim Stacy.
Thank you, Mike. On behalf of Post 1034, I would like to welcome everyone here. The Post being the Post members, auxiliary members. We're glad to see so large a turnout. It's a day to celebrate, or a day to honor those who have served in the past and those who serve today, and perhaps those who serve in the future. So with that being said, welcome, enjoy the ceremonies, and we'll go on from here. Our participating units today, Post 1034, yours truly, Jim Stacy, Post Commander, Eric Buckley, Post Auxiliary President, American Legion Post Commander John Hagan, American Legion Unit 5 Auxiliary President Sandy Mertz, SAL Commander Spencer Bristol, Marine Corps League 798 Sherry Garland, Marine Corps Auxiliary President Stephanie Larrabee, ex-prisoner of war Chapter 1 Vermont Richard Hamilton, VVA Tri-State Chapter 843 President Leonard Dury, American Legion Post 5 Band Bill Wessel Conductor, and they're doing a fine job. With that, I'll turn it back over to Patty for their invited guests.
Thank you, Commander. Except my husband likes to steal my papers. Like, hello. Okay, it's my pleasure and honor to invite our invited guests. We sent them out. If we didn't receive your RSVP, we will figure out you at the end of the ceremony. First of all, we'd like the Brattleboro Fire Department. Mike Bucassi is not with us. He's at his grandson's event in, I think, Pennsylvania, right, fireman? And he has sent his firemen. Thank you. Thank you. Would you stand up and take a bow? Please stand up for our Brattleboro firemen. all you do for our community here. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you for your safety. Brattleboro Police Department, Chief Michael Fitzgerald. I don't know if he's present. Okay. Brattleboro Police Department, Chief, oh, get him, okay. Brattleboro Rescue Department, Drew Hazelton. Is Drew here? Oh, thank you, Drew. Thank God for rescue. In the D8 Junior Vice Commander is our sweetheart, Doc Blair. And our VA assistant coordinators, as you know, Sam Haskins has helped many of our veterans, and also Mr. Tom French. Thank you all for helping our veterans. And I have one more, Yale Cohn. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Yale. We see her once in a while. She's the VA Finance Officer from Exit 1, the VA clinic. Thank you for being there and your husband. I don't know his name, Dale, but thank you for coming. And I think that's it for our guests. Is there anybody here that didn't respond to our card that we sent out? If not, that is our invited guests. And thank you for participating in our program. Thank you.
Good job, Jim and Patty. We'll now have a selection of the Armed Forces salute from the band. When your service is played, please stand up.
humbly apologize. You know, we might be not feeling good. Sometimes we, you know, get sidetracked. We apologize. Our Gold Star mother is here, Regina, and her husband, you know, so please stand up. Thank you. Thank you, and you know we love you both.
Wrong glasses. Our guest speaker today has so many jobs within the VFW and the VA system. He's got so much dust on him, so we thought we'd take him out of the closet and let him have something to say today. Sam Haskins, would you come to the podium, please?
Coming now. Thank you, Mike.
We did that, didn't we?
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I'd like to welcome everybody here today to celebrate Veterans Day. This is a celebration of all veterans, for all veterans. I would like to read just a short remark that I picked up this morning. I always try to keep my remarks short, you all know that. I remember the story of a man who shot a long-winded speaker. Afterwards, he went to the sheriff's office and confessed, "I just killed a keynote speaker," he said. The sheriff replied, "You're in the wrong place. You pick up the reward at the bounty hunter's office." I would like to welcome all the Gold Star families here, the veterans and their families, all the veterans organizations, police and fire department, and friends. Welcome to this celebration of Veterans Day. It is truly an honor with you to be joining with you today as we recognize all veterans, all of the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines even, Coast Guardsmen who have selflessly gone wherever they were called on to serve. This year, Veterans Day has extra meaning as 100 years ago, on the 11th hour of the 11th day and the 11th month in 1918, the Great War. Costello would remember that. The war to end all wars finally ended. Originally created in recognition of the end of World War I, the first Veterans Day was observed November 11th, 1921 at Arlington National Cemetery and was marked by the burial of the unknown soldier from World War I. Even nearly 100 years later, as we gather to reflect on those who have fought to preserve the freedoms every American enjoys, there are thousands of men and women in our military, once again, taking up arms against the enemies of our way of life. Like generations of patriots who have came before them, these few shoulder the burden for many. They serve because they know it is necessary for the greater good. Now more than ever, it's important that we take time to thank the men and women who selflessly sacrifice to serve in our armed forces. It is because of their dedication and sacrifice that we celebrate Veterans Day, to recognize and honor all those who have placed country above self, who have determined the safety and security of others as more important than their own. and who have done their duty by taking their place in line, just as generations of military men and women have done before them. To those of us who have worn or continue to wear the uniform of our great country, to our family members who stand just as strong at home, there is no doubt that Veterans Day brings with it a meaningful significance. To every American veteran, Veterans Day means much more than just a federal holiday. It is on this day we honor the contributions and sacrifices of more than 22 million veterans and service members who have proudly served our country, and all those who paid the ultimate sacrifice in the name of liberty and justice. Every generation of Americans undoubtedly owes a debt of gratitude to these brave patriots. And we must do everything we can to make sure the men and women who serve in today and tomorrow's military receive what they need to accomplish their missions of safeguarding Americans' freedom. Our military stands ready to do whatever is needed to defend our nation, just as we must stand ready to provide them support and assistance they need after their military service. Our men and women in uniform today share the same military ideals and experiences of yesterday's veterans. They chose to serve because they have a common belief in a cause higher than themselves and shared sense of duty. They willingly assumed all the risk associated with maintaining our freedom and liberties and preserving the ideals of democracy. More than anyone, veterans understand the real meaning of America. Maintaining the strength of the American idea requires courage, constant vigilance, as well as sacrifice. There should be no doubt that without sacrifices, our veterans, excuse me, without their love and dedication of spirit, evil would prevail. Even if I could make any demand, I would demand my fellow citizens grant our keepers of peace and protectors of our freedoms, our veterans, with the care and respect that they so richly and rightfully deserve. Those of us who care to honor America's heroes gather because we are honoring our sons and daughters, our mothers and fathers, and our brothers and sisters who are serving on behalf of everyone in our great country, just like the generations of American patriots did before them. Time and time again, our country has confronted countless challenges, and I know we will face many more in the days and years ahead. But the citizens of our great nation can rest assured that our values and the freedom are being fearlessly guarded by greatly determined and highly dedicated military, gallant soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen who willingly bear the cost of Americans' war and continue to stand watch over Americans' peace. For every single man and woman who has worn the U.S. military uniform by virtue of their service and sacrifice, today is their day to stand tall and be recognized by a grateful nation. Today and every day, we must take the opportunity to keep alive the memories, sacrifices, and accomplishments of our nation's veterans. And we must embrace every occasion to educate our future generations, the public, and the elected officials on their accomplishments, importance, and the needs of our nation's veterans. I hope as we leave here today, each of us will be motivated and inspired by the deeds and accomplishments of patriots past and present. I hope that this motivation will help lead us into a brighter future, armed with a renewed sense of patriotism and purpose. We must remain committed to a stronger nation and to our veterans, for it is our veterans who have sacrificed and paid the highest price for all of us. I'd like to thank you for attending today. God bless you and your families. God bless our troops, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you. Get that dust off. Come here.
Since Sam is throwing some humor in here, I don't know if he remembers when I was his president when we opened the Post in '97. And it happened to be in that year that our 50th Ladies Auxiliary anniversary was coming up, and so they asked me to do it, so I took all our historian books out and I picked stuff, and he looks at me and he says, well, I hope tonight, you only got 5 minutes. I said, 5 minutes? I said, for 50 years of auxiliary? So I'm thinking, yeah, well, that's what he thinks. So anyway, we got up here and we were doing our thing, and it was my turn to speak. And I got probably, maybe like a couple minutes before 5 minutes. And all of a sudden, I hear an egg timer going off in the podium. He's behind me, laughing. He's almost on his knees laughing. And I said, well, he kind of warned me, but I said, he won't dare do that. Well, lo and behold, did he. So Michael last night and I were sitting there and we were both thinking, boy, I feel like putting an egg timer in there today. But I didn't think it was appropriate because of Veterans Day, and I didn't want you to lose your train of thought. But thank you. That's just one story he told on me. Thank you for your service, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
Not bad there, Dogface.
The band will play a musical rendition of their choice. Thank you, Ann. That was excellent. We will now have the benediction by American Legion Chaplain Michael LeClaire.
Almighty God, in the spirit of community, we pause to remember lives lost and lives forever changed in war. May we also remember your great love for us, and that there is not a greater demonstration of love than to lay down one's life for another. Grant that our reflections today honor those who made that choice, as well as the many more willing to do so if called upon. To honor their legacy, we commit ourselves to be more vigilant in our love for others, for our nation, and the cause of freedom, justice, peace, and peace throughout the world. In the quiet sanctuaries of our own hearts, let us each name and call on the one whose power over us is great and gentle, firm and forgiving, holy and healing. You who created us, who sustain us, who call us to live in peace, hear our prayer this day. Hear our prayer for all who have died, whose hearts and hopes are known to you alone. For those who put the welfare of others ahead of their own and give us hearts as generous as theirs. For those who put the welfare of others ahead of their own and give our hearts our service of others and accept the gift of their sacrifice. Help us to shape and make a world where we will lay down the arms of war and turn our swords into plowshares for a harvest of justice and peace. Comfort those who grieve the loss of their loved ones, and let your healing be the hope in our hearts. Hear our prayer this day, and in your mercy, answer us in the name of all that is holy. Amen.
Thank you, Michael. The band will now play God Bless America, and everybody will join in when they get ready. We will now have the color guard retrieve the colors. The band will play a good song to march to. I didn't get the name, so I couldn't tell you. Oh, wonderful women Marines. Hi, Richie. Welcome. Wonderful Marines, women. I'd say so. That concludes our ceremony. Thank you once again, everybody that come. Remember, if you don't show up for these events, there's really no reason to have them. Well, we'd even do it if we had 1 or 2 people. But anyway, I'm going to let Patty say the last thing.
We just want to,
She always gets the last word anyway.
I have to admit it, sometimes I do. I'm a good fighter when I have to be. But I want to thank you all for coming. I would like to thank my husband because it was a little effort this year, but he was not going to say he wasn't going to do it. And he did it, and we did the best we could. I hope you enjoyed it. And what we'd like to say, we have a beautiful buffet coming out. And as usual, we would like the Legion Band to go if they would like some of our buffet, and also our firemen or anybody that has to get on the road. So thank you all from the bottom of our hearts. We love you. We can't do this without you. So thank you and happy Veterans Day to all. Thank you.
members, please line up. Fire department, there you go. They wanted to be bashful, but they're not. Rescue, thank you. Anyone else from emergency services?
He must have retired because he wasn't there last year.
So how long do you eat?
I love the plum.
What's up next on the list? And you. Take your time. Oh, yeah.
You can remember that day, man.
Well, I wouldn't know how to do that.
Hotmail.com. There you go. That should be it.
Yeah.
All we had 3 flags. Okay. All we had 3 flags.